Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Today, we're going to be taking a look at a post on Instagram about a woman who got stuck up on the third floor of her job and needed to call 911. This sounds like a fairly straightforward rescue story with no drama. However, when she posted about it on her page, the comments went completely ballistic. Since she happens to be living in a larger body, a lot of the people in the comments said she put herself into this situation and was tying up 911's resources that could have been used elsewhere. We're going to be taking a look at that post, reading many of the comments, as well as taking a look at a follow-up post she made, so be sure to stick around until the end. Before we proceed, please click the like button so that I may apply comb to mustache. Caption on the screen reads, "I had to call 911 just to leave my job. Today was my third day." As you can see, this person is in a wheelchair. I work on the third floor. I couldn't get downstairs, so I called 911 for the first time in my life. They sent EMS, but they didn't have the equipment to help me. They called multiple departments. I just kept saying, "I just want to go home. I don't need the hospital." Hours later, I finally got downstairs. I missed my ride home. My first Uber saw me and drove away. Uber. I don't know why we have this little graphic for Uber right there. All sparkly. The second one helped, but couldn't drop me at my door. What does that mean? I had to wheel myself home, taking breaks so I wouldn't pass out. Okay, so you couldn't get an Uber at all, and you had to wheel yourself all the way home in your wheelchair? By the way, I want to be very clear that the purpose of this video is not to shame this person, or make fun of this person, or anything like that. I am just covering this story. I got home at 7 p.m. I finished work at 4:30 p.m. Okay, so it took you 2.5 hours to wheel yourself home in the wheelchair? Oh my goodness. How far do you live from the place? By the way, she said this was just her third day on the job when this happened. This is what going back to work looks like for me, because she said that was her third day back. She had just started this new job and then had this incident. We're going to read a little bit more about it in just a moment, because you're probably like, how did you get up on the third floor and then you couldn't get down? We're going to get more of the details when we read the description. Okay, now it's looping. Today I called 911 for the first time in my life. Not because I was dying, but because I couldn't leave my job. My office is on the third floor. The elevator broke and I use a wheelchair. Okay, so you took the elevator up to the third floor and then the elevator broke and you couldn't get back down. I waited. I explained. I kept saying, "I just want to go home." Hours later, I finally got downstairs, missed my ride, got left by one Uber, struggled to get home. I got home at 7 p.m. I was supposed to be home at 4:30. Well, I think you said you got out of work at 4:30, so who's going to instantly be at home right when they get out of work? This is something people don't see. This is what accessibility actually looks like in real life. I'm not sharing this for sympathy. I'm sharing it because this shouldn't be normal. What shouldn't be normal? Elevators going out? Are we mad at somebody else because the elevator went out or something? Hashtag still becoming, hashtag elevator, hashtag living with pressure, hashtag chronic illness life, hashtag disability awareness. Okay, so according to the description, she took the elevator up to the third floor, and then the elevator stopped working and she needed to call 911 and have EMS come help her get down the stairs. That's a messed up situation. The elevator works on the way up, but then it breaks and you can't get down. Let's take a look at the comments. Rose KRW says, I feel like the system didn't fail you, you failed yourself. This person says the fact your company didn't accommodate you with a crane is abhorrent. By the way, I do not support anybody making fun of this person. This person says you have to lose weight. It's called being responsible for yourself. This person says be there for yourself, lose weight. STFU Rachel says, you choose to be this size. You have the power to change. Not Your Crazy Mom says, how did you get up there in the first place? All right, they clearly didn't read the description. This person says you called 911 for a ride? What a waste of their time, and your employer dodged a bullet. Dodged a bullet? What, did they fire her after that or something? This person says, sure the system failed you? This person says the pity party and dwelling on the negative is not helping you. I'm not going to speculate on this person's condition or make fun of them or anything like that. A lot of people in the comments say that the condition that this person has is largely caused by their weight. Let's take a look at some of the replies to the comment that says, I feel like the system didn't fail you, you failed yourself. This person responds to that by saying, I feel like you're just a heartless person because who the F would say such a thing? Jesus. All right, this person tells us a little bit more about the condition that she has. She lives with a chronic illness, idiopathic intracranial hypertension, which causes fluid buildup and pressure in the brain, and obesity is a major risk because of all the symptoms and struggles that come with it. It's okay to not know what you're talking about, but your opinion is cruel and ignorant. Please fix your ugly soul. Okay, so she has idiopathic intracranial hypertension. According to Google, idiopathic intracranial hypertension is strongly linked to obesity, with over 90% of patients being overweight, particularly affecting women of childbearing age. Obesity is a major, often modifiable risk factor, that means you can change it, and weight loss of 6 to 10% can lead to IIH remission. The incidence of IIH has risen in parallel with increasing obesity rates, with rapid weight gain increasing risk. IIH incidence has increased by over 250% in women, correlating with rising obesity rates. Okay, so according to the research that I've looked up, it actually is largely caused by obesity, which aligns with what a lot of the comments said. This person says 1. Shouldn't have gotten a job somewhere that doesn't have reasonable accommodations. 2. Eating less is free. This person says lose weight. I love how many people don't know how to spell the very simple word lose. Like, what? Every other person says loose instead of lose. You're kidding. Loose weight has 102 likes. Let's see if anybody corrects this person. I bet they don't. Crazy that you're spreading burp, 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 burp. Okay, you didn't correct his spelling. This person says, you live in Connecticut. Oh, get dunked on, son. Dude, they live in Connecticut? What a loser. No, I don't know if that was supposed to be like an insult or what the hell. All right, I'm looking for somebody to correct the spelling on the word lose. I'm not seeing it. Just a bunch of people arguing about nonsense. Blah, 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 dow. Okay. Nobody corrected the spelling on the word lose. Faith in humanity dwindling. This person said lose an O. I think they were correcting them. Okay, Chronically Bridget, thank you. Thank you very much. This comment says AI overview +10. Idiopathic intracranial hypertension is strongly linked to obesity, with over 90% of cases occurring in overweight individuals. It's saying the same thing that I just looked up a moment ago. Particularly women of childbearing age. Elevated body mass index raises intracranial pressure, and weight loss of 6 to 10% is often an effective treatment to achieve remission. Your condition is a choice. Okay. This person says, wrong. I have IIH and not obese. Many are not. Total misconception. Well, it didn't say that everyone that has this condition is obese. It said over 90% of cases occur in overweight individuals. So there's a very strong correlation there. This person says, do you really not know what over 90% means? Talking to this person, they said you don't have to be obese to get it. Yeah, I guess they missed that part. This person says these comments are disgusting and ableist. Nobody chooses to be unwell. That's true. Nobody chooses to be unwell. Many people think that this condition could be helped by some lifestyle changes. There are a few people that support her. We're going to be reading some of those comments as well. This person says, imagine this, folks. You're disabled and cannot move your body properly or at all. Therefore, you gain weight, or from medications, or from depression, or from all of it. I have gone through so many weight fluctuations through my chronic injury journey, and I am not even in a wheelchair. Yes, that is true. Certain medications can cause weight gain, and being unable to move your body properly will prevent you from exercising. I get all of that. Although I will say maintaining our weight largely does not come from exercise. It's interesting how many people are like, I couldn't exercise for a little while, so I gained all this weight. Like, you guys are just constantly doing all of this exercise in order to keep your body at a certain size. And if you stop doing it, then you gain weight. I'm not sure what's up with that. I can go weeks or months without exercising and not gain any weight at all, because exercise is only one small component of our body size. What we eat is a very large component, no pun intended, of what makes us gain weight. Here's another supportive comment that says, I'm disgusted by all the people saying you failed yourself or it's because you're fat, and so many other revolting things. You people know nothing about this woman. She, along with so many other disabled people, deserves better. It should not take approximately 3 hours to get home from work, especially not in an office job nearby. That's just absurd and cruel. It doesn't matter how someone became disabled. Would you treat a man born with no limbs this way? No, you wouldn't. So why treat her this way? Disgusting. Much love to you, Valeria. For some reason, I'm not knowing how to pronounce the word Valeria right now. My brain is doing that thing where, like, it's completely unfamiliar with a word, like it's never seen it before, and it doesn't know how to pronounce it. I swear to God, I've seen this name before. No, I'm thinking of Valerie. Sorry. Having an old man brain fart. You know when you see a word, and for some reason your brain, like, doesn't register it, and then it looks and sounds all weird to you for a while? Like, you know what I mean? Let's take a look at some of the replies to that comment. This person says, it's insane to me that people are this mean to someone just because they are fat. If a skinny person posted this, they wouldn't have blamed them. It's just so sad how disgusting and appearance-focused our society is. And it's even more gross to see them so emboldened online everywhere. It's disheartening. This person says, the truth hurts. She's blatantly expecting everyone else around her to help her when she can't even help herself. Stop coddling. Start accountability. This person says, wake up. A skinny person would be easy to carry down the stairs. This person responds, she's disabled because she's obese. The treatment to cure her disability involves losing weight. Imagine being an adult who takes zero accountability for their actions. This person says, what do you mean the system? The elevator was broken, brother. Yeah, I think she mentioned the system and doing better or something, which didn't make a whole lot of sense because, yeah, the elevator was broken. I don't know what that has to do with the system. Here's another supportive comment. Fellow wheelchair user popping in to send virtual hugs since the rest of this comment section is full of horrible ableists. Here's another supportive comment. So many ableist comments. She has a disability and uses a wheelchair. Nothing to do with weight. One day you too will be disabled. One day you too will be disabled? What does that mean? Are you saying that disability is an inevitability? For us all, we will undoubtedly all become disabled. This person says her illness is caused by being overweight. Look it up. And this other person says she has a disability because she is obese. Treatment for her disability involves losing weight. Here's a comment from her that says, have you ever been in a situation where the system just failed you? Okay, that must be what that person was talking about a moment ago when they were like, the system didn't fail you, the elevator broke. Yeah, I'm not sure which system she's saying failed her. You called 911, EMS came and took you down the stairs. So they rescued you from the situation. I'm not sure which system failed you. This person responds to her comment by saying, yes, I have, almost every day. The system fails everyone. That's why you shouldn't rely on them. Look for friends and family to back you up. I'm sorry you have health issues, but that isn't the system's fault. This person says, did her employment provide her with another way to get down to the first level. They had an elevator and stairs in case the elevator was broken. So they had both methods that exist within the building, but the elevator broke. So we really can't get mad at the employer. This person says, what other way? If an elevator breaks, there isn't much else they can do except let her work from home. Those stair lifts are thousands of dollars, and if we are speaking purely numbers, spending thousands and thousands as a company for a singular person is not efficient and the numbers don't work. This person says, and that's why the ADA exists. Not only is it the company/building's responsibility to fix it right away, if they can't, they have to provide an alternative to ensure accessibility, whether it be for an employee or a client in that building. Bet you any alternative would have been cheaper than a lawsuit. Okay, well, I don't know what you're on about. The elevator broke. Whoever needs to use it is going to have to wait for it to get fixed. You're saying the company needs to immediately bring in some sort of alternate way to get up the stairs when the elevator breaks. Like, we need to buy other equipment and wheel it in here to make things more accessible. Like, can't we just fix the elevator? We have an elevator and stairs. Like, when the elevator breaks, I think the only reasonable thing to do is fix it. You want us to bring in like a scissor lift or a crane or some other thing in the meantime while we wait for the elevator to be fixed? How much money do you think this company has, dude? The elevator broke that same day because it took her up to the 3rd floor and then broke and she couldn't get back down. I'm wondering why it broke to begin with. It took you up to the 3rd floor and then it broke? All right, the comments are arguing. This person says, when the blame ends and the accountability starts and action is key, your health is due to your decision making, not everyone else. Good luck, may God bless you and give you motivation for a lifestyle change. A couple of people say you failed yourself, and this person says, unfortunately, you did it to yourself. This person says, guys, weight has nothing to do with the elevator breaking and her being stuck. Like, are you guys serious? This person says, wild how so many of the weight comments are from private accounts. You obviously know nothing about chronic illness and medications. Many medications make it next to impossible to lose any meaningful weight. This person says, I'm so sorry this happened. I work for a high rise that houses many disabled people and the elevators have gone out many times. Emergency services always have machines/devices that roll wheelchairs downstairs securely. It is their responsibility to have these at all times. Anyone complaining that she is demanding access, they said excess, I think they meant to say access, is mistaken, as these devices are the same ones used to ensure wheelchair users can safely escape multi-story burning buildings. Okay, so they have some sort of device that will carry a wheelchair downstairs. That's cool. I've seen some pretty cool devices lately that can carry boxes and all types of other stuff upstairs for you. So that's really cool that they also have that for wheelchairs. Okay, so that's the original story, and as you can see, the comments are divided. Some people are supportive, others are saying this is a self-induced condition and you're tying up 911's resources. Since she got a lot of negative comments on that video, she made a follow-up post elaborating on the situation a little bit, which we're going to take a look at now. The caption on the picture says, "This was not a choice." The post reads, "I want to clarify something. I did not post this for sympathy. I shared my experience because it happened, and it matters. I am not responsible for the fact that 911 sent EMS, who then told me they didn't have the equipment to help me get downstairs. This is not a personal failure. This is a system failure." Okay, so they didn't have the equipment to help you get down the stairs. So how did you end up getting down the stairs? Because they did get you down the stairs and then you got home 2.5 hours later. So if they didn't have the equipment to do that, how did you get down? And is this really a system failure? My body, my weight, and my health are not public debates. This is something I handle privately, with doctors, with effort, every single day. Okay, but you posted about it on the public internet, so when you post things publicly, you're inviting comments. It's crazy to post all this stuff about your health and then be like, my health is not a public debate. I'm not saying that people should give you a hard time or any stuff like that, but you literally put yourself out there and basically asked asked for comments. Like, yo, this is what happened to me. This is my story. You posted it publicly. If you didn't want people to talk about it, you shouldn't have done that. And I'm not saying anybody should be mean to you. I'm just saying, when we post things to the public internet, it's public. That's like if I got bent out of shape because people were leaving comments on my video. Like, what are you guys doing? This video was just for me. Like, then why'd you upload it to the public internet? And also, there's a comment section underneath the video, just like there's a comment section on the side of this post. For those saying I'm wasting taxpayers' money, I pay taxes, I work, and most of my medical equipment, I paid for it myself. Okay, well, in that last post, you said, this is what happens when I try to go back to work. So, do you work? Because that was you going back to work and it didn't last very long before there was an issue. I go to physical therapy. I am actively learning how to walk again. And beyond idiopathic intracranial hypertension, I am also dealing with another neurological condition. So no, this is not laziness. This is survival. I truly hope you and your loved ones never have to experience what it means to depend on help just to get through a normal day. Because I used to think I understood how hard disability was. I didn't, not until it became my reality. Hashtag still becoming, hashtag living with pressure, hashtag chronic illness, hashtag disability awareness, hashtag invisible illness. All right, and then this one has nothing but supportive comments. It must have not made it to those other people's algorithm. By the way, the purpose of this video is not to make fun of this person or their disability. Please do not go and harass them or give them a hard time or anything like that. I feel bad that this person went through this situation, but I don't think the system failed her. I'm not sure why she's even saying that, because obviously EMS got her down the stairs and she was able to get home eventually. I'm purposely covering comments from both sides of the debate, supportive comments and non-supportive comments, so that I can remain neutral. I want to quickly look at this person's page. Wheelchair life, chronic illness, IIH, FND. Living with IIH plus FND plus chronic illness. Wheelchair life plus mind plus body plus real days. The entire page is basically about being disabled and in a wheelchair. Lily, quit flapping your ears when I'm filming. What you gonna do? What you gonna do, Lily? By the way, I'm not looking at this person's page to make fun of them at all. I said quit flapping your ears. What you gonna do? What? It's time for a Lily break. Ah! Lily is a softer laugh, I guess. Lily is a softer laugh, I guess. Lily is a softer laugh. Go over there. Get the hell over there. Okay, and we're gonna wrap up the video right there. All right, so that was a messed up story. That person got stuck up on the 3rd floor, had to call 911, and then EMS got them down somehow. I don't know, because they said the system failed me. But then I got home 2.5 hours later. So how did you get down from the 3rd floor down to the ground if the system failed you? I'm not sure. It was interesting to see how divided the comments were. There were a lot of supportive comments, as well as a lot of people saying this is a self-induced condition that you need to work on and you shouldn't be tying up 911's resources. If there are lifestyle choices that we could make to alleviate some of our symptoms, I would say that it would be wise to make them. So personally, I'm still a little confused how the system failed her, but what do you think? Leave a comment below. Happy Tuesday, everybody. Anyway, that about does it. Thanks for watching, commenting, liking, and subscribing. And I'll see you in the next one.